Welcome to the Friendlyjordies Podcast. I hope everyone's had a great week. Did you guys have a good week?
Yes,
You both were in Brisbane when the dreaded blackout happened. You managed to survive.
Oh, yeah, the blackout of 23.
I saw Miss Love your marked safe on Facebook.
My what? Are you joking?
No, yes, I am.
Fuck, jeez,
Do
I
you know
get
how
scared.
people do that? Like,
That's insane. Marked safe.
they'll
Dude,
mark them as safe.
if I wrote marked safe to that thing, I'd be like, I'd write marked unsafe, dangerously low alcohol levels in my establishment. That's what I would have written.
Yeah, I remember
Even
when-
though, let's be honest, that was a lie.
Not upstairs.
He was heft up on goofballs, everybody.
Not upstairs.
Yeah?
There's no bar up there.
Under heft.
I would have said unsafe. I would have said unsafe.
All right, let's start with
Go
the,
downstairs and get one. It was an
It's
elevator.
too far.
let's start the first segment, boys.
You were in a brewery.
It was too far.
Beer everywhere, not a drop to drink.
Exactly.
What did you want, Ali?
What?
What do you
Yeah,
want?
what are you on about? What
Yeah.
are you on about?
I'm on
Here
about.
we are just trying to figure out how Miss Love was doing last week.
Yeah, and you're rudely
all-
interrupting.
All you care about
This is the main
turkey.
pod. Can we start the segment, please?
Well, look. you've
You
been
had half an
warned.
hour of
You've
this
been
for the
warned.
pre-show.
You've been warned. Can I have some of that?
Look at his little homeless jacket as well.
Use
Yes,
your
you
legal
can.
tune.
soon.
Gotta suck it in deep while I can, buddy.
PWC Australia's CEO Tom Seymour has stepped down.
So we mark him as unsafe.
Yeah, we might have unsafe. He's definitely unsafe.
Yeah, Seymour Hoffman needs beer.
He
What's his name?
Tom Seymour.
Right.
So
Seymour Hoffman is the new CEO. So.
PWC, it was essentially contracted to consult in setting up this new tax regime for the Australian government that helps tax multinational corporations that essentially pass on the profits from Australia to shell companies or in other countries that have a lower corporate tax rate,
Like Rio Tinto?
like Rio Tinto, whatever it might be. I don't want to take any names.
Rio Tinto.
Okay. So what they were doing was, whilst they were contracted by the government to do this, they also were selling the services to the same company, saying, we are devising this tax structure for Australia, so we know how to get you off the hook on taxes. And this has caused a big scandal.
And they're getting punished for this?
Yeah, they're getting, and initially,
That's sick. It's like a corporate Christopher scale.
before the details had leaked completely, when PwC was asked what's happening with this, they were like, it's a media issue. Like, we just have an image problem. We can fix this. We haven't done anything.
So what did he
illegal."
actually do? He was just like contracts, right?
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
that's
no.
businessy.
Wait, continue. Contracts.
No, that's
what?
all you get.
That's it. Contracts that he was organizing.
I hope you're putting your hat in the ring for next season.
Yeah.
But I say I already have. Dude.
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Check my profile. It goes Starbucks, then that job. That's it.
And if that's not enough to convince you, just go on his Instagram where he's taking photographs of the gifts that he didn't give his mum for Mother's Day.
This is fake news. I don't know what this is about. The gifts, but
So the illegal aspect of it is that when you have a client like that, then there's a conflict of interest, because on one hand you have an interest to devise a tax system that avoids tax dodgers, and on the other hand you're selling it as a service
yeah,
of tax dodging,
that's what I'm saying.
which is illegal.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with contracts, but
There's contracts in there.
what's I guess there is a contract.
I told
See,
you.
Ali, you don't
I
know what they
told
talk
you.
about in the upstairs of these places like Miss Love does, okay?
Yeah. It's MisAdventures when I went to PWC
Yeah,
and checked out
I
all
was
the
CEO
records.
for a week.
I signed contracts for an illegal tax fraud shell company.
So Miss Love ended up going back to the Scientology cult. Things have been moving up ever since.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but this is like, it brings us back to a greater point of like how consultants were made rich under the Liberal government for the last decade. And this is just one example of how that money was straight down the drain.
Yeah, and that wasn't enough for them, was it? unprecedented levels of handouts.
Yeah.
Hundreds of billions of dollars going to these consultants, and they still wanted more. It's almost as if they function as a perfectly rational corporation.
Wow, you are a pessimistic man. Do you have any hope left in you, Jordan?
For consultants?
No, just for anything. Because they're like,
Yeah.
consultants can be good as well.
Can they?
When have they ever been good? Come on.
I mean, look,
How?
what the
How?
job of a consultant is literally to help you
To
figure shit out.
console.
Yeah,
but
do
like-
they, or is it just a big tax write-off like getting a comedian to come to your Christmas party?
Who's that?
But I think
It's just like Akmal, for instance.
aren't they like good if they're probably good if for smaller companies because it's like a person being like, yeah, you know, like use this accountant. But don't you think as soon as it gets really big, that's when it gets sus?
Yeah, but the problem is like the biggest consultancy firms are huge. Like that's who everyone hires.
In fact, the bigger a company, the more sus they are. There, I said it.
It was a really cushy job. I remember
Hey, Nestle. All right.
the real individual consultants that have done great things in some particular field and people come and ask them, there is no greater job. One of my dad's friend was a consultant and this was his job. He had retired by then. He would do a couple of 1 hour appointment every month, and for 1 to 2 hours, he would get paid $10,000 in mid 2000s.
Wait, how much?
$10,000
Right.
for a couple of hours in mid
Fuck.
2000s.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's no way that guy gave them any
Good
advice
nah.
worth that.
No way. There's no
Dude, you
way.
could call up a psychic hotline. It'd be cheaper,
Call
and they
up
give you
hot
probably
dogs.
better advice.
Definitely.
Yeah. Call up hot dogs.
Definitely.
Ask, have a couple of guesses of what you think is on that pizza.
I
You'd
think
probably
it's-
make more money.
like surely he couldn't have been worth that money. Like what did he do that is not
His consultancy was primarily advising Middle Eastern car manufacturers about how to source Japanese products and cars effectively.
Can I Google that?
I mean, I guess you can. This is mid 2000s. Internet was slow.
Oh, 2000s. Yeah, I guess that's different. But
Internet
like,
was slow. Well, okay, so none of you are surprised. No one's. Are you outraged?
no, I'm kind of just. I'm like, wow, consultants actually do something.
They're not
This
doing
is a
shit.
step up for me.
They're actively undermining the government and the taxpayer.
Yeah, but I thought that they just you were literally paying them to do nothing. That's what I thought that they were doing. But
Yeah.
we were actually paying them to enrich themselves, and now I'm kind of just
Yeah,
amazed by the
pro.
scam.
Yeah, you're pro consultant.
Well, I just think it's just like it's a clever thing to do.
yeah.
Yeah, they're taking money from both sides.
Yeah.
to make more money.
I know. They're
So-
double agents.
Dude, we got to be consultants somehow. You
No,
should.
we don't.
Yeah, we
I
do.
would rather kill myself. That seems like
Really?
the most boring fucking job on earth.
I think you just eat free
and
lunches.
also just this, like, dude, I really don't. There's nothing that angers me more. I got a taste of it in university, where you're just sitting around and bullshitting about things that you don't really know anything about, and you're scared to say anything, but you still have to. That's what I would imagine being a consultant is. Just being in first year uni, trying to waffle through a class where you didn't do the tute readings.
Yeah, but you could be a different consultant. You could be a consultant.
Fair.
It's like a self-help thing. It's like people come to you and they ask you for advice. So you kind of are a consultant.
Yeah, I think
in
it's
a way.
more. I think it's more just therapy. They come and they're just like, "Tell me my company's good," and they're like, "It's good," and you're like, "Whew, thank God for that. Let's get a beer." I think that's what they do.
I swear that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
That's the psychological need underneath it.
yeah,
But when Tu was a consultant, it really seemed like all they were doing was some corporation would come in, the CEO would have an idea, and then they'd pay a consultant to sit there and come up with a report that made that guy's idea seem good.
Yeah.
So he could go to the board meeting and just be like, I've got an 800-page report. Read it. Anyway, this is what we're doing next.
totally. I mean, look,
Surely that's what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a little
didn't
bit of
know
that,
she
which
was
is
a
why they're
consultant.
considered. I don't know, dude. I don't know, like, how effective these corporations. These
It does change
consultancy-
throughout the countries.
But here's the problem: like, if they were really that ineffective, how is that one of the biggest businesses in the world?
That's a good point.
I honestly think it's because the corporate world has so much money in it now.
They need to pay. They need something to pay. So they have
They
too
money
much money
to go somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
I swear that's what's happening there. It's the same as what happens in Hollywood, where you just hire all these people. And I remember talking to someone who was there, and he was walking around being like, "You don't do anything. You don't do anything.
Yeah.
I created this show and you're getting paid more than me and you don't do anything.
Fuck.
That's a thing.
There's a lot of
There's
that.
a lot of that.
Yeah. Dude, most jobs these days aren't things.
What do you think
Half
about-
jobs are just, I sit in the computer, do some report, talk shit, and I go home. Like, there's no purpose to so many jobs.
What do you think about the writer's strike? Do you think they have any legitimate grounds for it?
Man, I am
Probably.
really, that is the one union that I'm against. I really don't like any media types having a union.
But you know what their
I
arguments
wish
are?
that they were just treated as slaves.
you know
I
what
think
their
it's
arguments
fair.
are,
I think
though?
it's fair.
What?
So there's this new rule. So they're basically saying that a writer should have a livable, consistent wage as opposed to being like
Oh,
contracted
no, they don't
to
get
do
that getting
something.
paid several $100,000 a season on the shows that they're on.
They're saying a writer today gets paid less than what a writer did in the 90s just on an average.
Dang.
Yeah, well, here's my argument. You all suck in comparison to writers from
Well,
the
that's-
90s. You're
so-
getting paid too much.
And so one of the this is the one point that I don't necessarily agree with them on. So they're saying that there's a new rule, or I don't know if this rules existed. Let's say they commission a show, right? They see a pilot, they like the pilot, and they want to go through with it. On of the first season, the writers team is basically fireable. And they can't. It can be likely that you don't continue on for the remaining seasons, and they're saying that that's unfair. If you're gonna hire us, then you hire us properly. Don't hire us just for the first season and then fire us.
Dude, people in Hollywood are so entitled. You know? Like, what is that? That's kind of like somebody who works in construction saying, well, you have to hire us to build every apartment that you build after that, regardless of whether or not we do a shit job. Okay? So
I
you have
guess
to-
what they're saying is like
what the hell?
it's the same building because it's the same show. So they're saying if you're hiring us to build a building, don't hire us just for the first floor. Hire us for the entire thing.
I say that it's like building an apartment, them doing a crap job on the apartment, and then saying, you're getting this for the next apartment, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think. And also, I don't know, I really don't have much sympathy for white-collar unions. Blue-collar unions I'm all for, and I think that you should definitely unionize if you're like a train driver or something.
You've heard
like
some
that.
stories about like because there's a lot of other quotas that need to be met with hiring people now, which is again part of the problem. Like the writers' room needs to be really diverse, which ends up meaning that some people in your writing team are better than others. So this is a way to just fire them after the first season. You've had some experience. Someone you know in Hollywood told you about what it's like being in a writer's room there. Do you want to talk about that?
Dude, okay. This is why most shows are terrible now. It is because you aren't hired on merit. You are hired because you check one of the quota boxes. And so people would come in to this writer's room and then they just say, we need somebody that's transgender. Now, again, look, if you're transgender and you're funny, go for it. But they would just come in. They'd say, literally the one that they hired did this. They just went, have you got any writer's experience? I've written some pretty badass tweets that went viral. I said, seriously? Like, you don't have, like, even a page document that you want or something? And then they said, awful lot of sisters in this room. And then they said, you're hired. and then that transgender
All
just
of
got
these
to
were trick
do nothing.
questions.
Huh?
That's the new industry, mate. Don't be scared of a developing, vibrant industry.
Wait, why would you hire them if they had like no experience?
Because they had to hire someone, and that was the
quota.
only one that came in, so they just got them. And that was the same. There was like a bunch of those there. Now, obviously, there was some women there that were pulling their weight. Not all of them were. A lot of them would just sit there
They're
and do
very
nothing
heavy?
and then just fucking have lunch and fuck off and literally added nothing to the show. And at the end, the guy was just saying, if I just hired me and a couple of my mates that I know to do it, we would have done way more work and the show would have been way better.
There was probably shit male writers too, right? Not like all the females.
No, because that's the whole thing. They're the ones that are always just getting culled out.
Oh.
So
Really?
Yeah. So the ones that were there were mad because there was just a bunch of abundance of competition, and they had to cull off ones that were good, so they could just chuck in like POCs and stuff. And they were saying some of the POCs that were there were good. Some of them were fucking horrendous, and that was just like half the writers' room just didn't deserve to be there.
It's not a meritocracy.
No.
Yeah.
It's not like this guy's like a racist that was just like, no, only Nordics or something like that,
Yeah, like, well, it's like, I'm Swedish. What are you doing? You're like, you're from the south of Sweden. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Not icy blue enough. Out you get. We saw the eye chart. We've got our own quotas.
Yeah.
Another
the Blade Runner. What is it? Just like interlinked. How?
Yeah. He's got contacts on. Get him. Yeah, this will shock you to realize that wasn't the case. The guy just wanted to make a good show, and the show was seriously hindered by that.
That's crazy.
And I know that you're all thinking that it's somebody, but it's not that person.
But there's writers, I would assume, in like Milwaukee or some shit. You shouldn't just bag writers' unions. Like, it's not just Hollywood. There's probably like New York writers.
Yeah, but this is like kind of Hollywood.
What do they make? Fucking Hamilton?
Well, I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm sure there's like some like writer in like, like Chicago that's good. Do it for him.
I don't know, man. I feel, I don't know. I'm just very jaded about the old entertainment industry, and I feel like there's a lot of leeches on there that are just very bad people, and I feel like they should be punished.
But how
just
much
for
of
their
it
existence.
do you think it's all in the majority's obviously in Hollywood? Hey.
Yeah, well, what actually really angers me about America, I think this is actually the source of the anger. What actually angers me about writers' unions and actors' guilds and all this stuff in America is these are very powerful unions in the US, but it's for the most bullshit job.
Right.
It's just making propaganda, and they're really powerful unions. But then you go to a construction union in the US or the train drivers union in the US, and they can't even muster together enough power to make sure that the train is safe and doesn't tip over and kill 700
Which is what happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
and that is because those unions have no power whatsoever. Like any union that actually does something productive for society is always like just decimated. While you have all of these, like, and the other thing, when I think about unions, I also think of things like, corporations getting together and just being like, the Fast Food United North American Alliance. That is a union of sorts. They're extremely powerful.
Really?
Well, of course.
Oh, but they're a union. Well, it's not. Yeah.
But they are a union, aren't they?
Well, I guess so. I don't know what the definition is. Like,
writers are also petrified of AI. They're saying that AI's gonna start writing scripts, and
it will.
we want a piece of that.
They will, man. The arts will be the first to go.
I don't know if that's true.
Reckon?
No. Not at all.
Really?
I think
As
it'll be
O'Reilly
the
said,
go.
they put in an O'Reilly script into this chat GPS. My nephew, he's good at that stuff. He did the whole beep, 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 beep. And it came back, and it didn't have the same panache that O'Reilly has. It didn't have the same humor. Didn't have the same great points. But it was almost there.
It was nowhere near as clever. It'll never catch up. It might catch up in 1 to 2 years, but that's in the future.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And I'll be long dead by then.
And we're in the present. And guess why they call it a present?
Because it's a gift.
That's
today's talking point. God, it is amazing because I think it is the best American news duo that it is, but it's just like the rejects of cable yesteryear with Anthony Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly. You have to get into that, Ali. You would love it. I highly recommend everybody watch it. Just type in Cuomo and O'Reilly, and it's just their breakdown of the week. And it's great because they're both just New Yorkers that sit there.
They do it together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's so good. They just sit there
shit.
paying each other out.
That's great.
And like the other day, they were just like, say something nice about each other. And he's like, I think O'Reilly means what he says. And then it goes to O'Reilly. He's like, I like Cuomo's hair.
Wait, which one? Cuomo's not Anthony Cumia, is he?
No.
Just checking.
That's a different name.
Wait, the last one starts with
Cuomo.
C. It starts with C. In my mind, all these people are the same. So.
Well, let's be honest. He's handsome Anthony Cumia.
All right. Well,
Because I was imagining Bill O'Reilly and Anthony Cumia. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch that.
You don't want to do anything
So
with Anthony
that guy's gross.
No, so many pocket marks.
I don't like it.
in other
He's had a
news,
rough life. that guy.
ABC has announced the biggest restructure since 2017. They're firing a lot of people. They're
Yeah.
amalgamating all
No
the
unions
different.
for you guys.
They're amalgamating all the different sections
Sorry,
of
can I
ABC.
just say, like, how much better is Australia that, like, the media union here is weak and the construction union is strong? That's
pretty
how it
good.
should be.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Sorry.
Country for
Maybe a
tradies.
little bit too strong in this country, but see enough of those flags. The CFMEU.
Dude, how could you hate a union whose banner is a cobra and then it says at the bottom, if provoked, we will strike?
That's exactly right there. I want some CFMEU needs some decorum. That's what I'm saying.
That's funny.
I can't believe you're not a fan of that.
I'm not a fan. I'm just saying, checks and
Hey,
balances.
be a little bit serious about this. This is trade negotiations.
Yes, exactly.
This is a serious topic.
Enough
Mr.
frivolous, theatrics. CFMEU, right? Take the flags and just chill out.
Come on. Writers Guild isn't writing anything as good as that. Construction you could do it better.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna fucking defend Hollywood. Their fucking writing quality is
Abysmal, yeah.
abysmal. It's like I'm not defending them. Jesus.
Last 3-4 years have been so shit. Anyway, but we move on to ABC. So they've announced the biggest job losses since 2017. They're restructuring ABC Group into they're moving away. You know how there was radio, regional radio, blah blah blah. They're amalgamating all of it together and making just two separate divisions: news and content.
And ABC.
Yeah.
And content is going to be headed by
ABC Kids.
the ex boss of Netflix Australia, and all of this Triple J, Double J, all the audio programming is going to fall into content, and news is just going to be your big ticket news presenters and just the daily sort of news run telecast. And they're saying that we're moving ABC into the 21st century by doing this.
Really? It sounds like you're on the death rattle, guys.
Yeah, a little bit.
Shit.
You're doing some Vice, this is going to really rejuvenate our industry moves, aren't you?
Do you think it's going to do anything to make things simple?
I mean, it'll make things simple.
What they're saying is the reason why they're doing it is, and I think we can sympathize with it, that these different departments of the ABC have become their own silos with their managers basically deciding who comes into them, who doesn't go into it, and also they're just reverberating their own echo chamber that they've created. By bringing all of it under content, there's a unified managerial position that's going to manage all of them and basically keep them in check, allegedly.
Awesome.
Great.
Great. So,
Cutting bureaucracy.
yeah.
Good.
The propaganda will be streamlined now.
That's what I was thinking too. So, but there'll be some job losses, but the new ABC boss has said for the first time we're going to have more women working for the ABC than men.
Well,
And so now you can not complain about the job losses.
Evens
That
out.
is truly remarkable that we live in a day and age where you can talk about firing hundreds of people and then spin it as a positive because more women are going to be there.
Yeah, because now
Finally.
there's
What
3
the
women
fuck
and 2
world do
men.
we live in?
ABC, leading the charge on equity. I'm for it. I'm all for it.
But isn't that amazing as well? Just being like, yeah, we're all about equality. Anyway, now we've gotten rid of all those fucked men. You've just really admitted, you've said the quiet part loud, ABC.
What do you think is going to be the eventual outcome of this lack of meritocracy? I'm not saying that every woman working in the ABC, I'm sure that they're all but come on. The whole
No, I'm not
idea
sure all of
quota-
them are. I mean,
Yeah.
Lee Sales deserves to go, and I'm sure she's not.
Well,
Yeah,
that
there's your bad Lee Sales and there's your good Annabelle Crabb.
Of course. Well, there's a balancing act, yeah. But
Yeah.
no, Annabelle Crabb's a man, but anyway.
Triple J bad, Double J
Friendly
good.
Jordies making the big calls. Expose. Talking about investigative journalism. Sorry.
Do you think like it's going to have a really bad effect on our society eventually, or do you think it's just going to be one of those things that makes productivity slightly less, but it's too little, and so we just ignore and move on?
Huh?
I don't
What do you
know.
mean?
I
Do you
don't
think we're
know.
going to hit a dead end if we keep hiring people based on like, gender, race, sexual orientation?
Dude, we hit that dead end a long time ago.
You reckon?
Yeah. It's really just completely impeded creativity, productivity, and innovation. It is the exact opposite of what cultivates those things. To make a society that is constantly progressing, you don't make it progressive. You have to make it something where it's like, can you do the job or not?
Yeah,
That's the
irrelevant.
only
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah. I mean, I think
And they're
meritocracy.
celebrating the fact that it's just like ABC now shitter than ever. Like they're celebrating the fact that people are not getting hired because they deserve to be hired.
It does seem
and
patronizing.
that's the big like selling point.
It does seem patronizing and sort of like, what's it, like virtue signaling, doesn't it? It's like we're good people. It's like it's a weird thing to display.
But Jordan's point is really good. It tells you something that you're virtue signaling when you're firing hundreds of people by claiming that there's an extra 2 women on the team now.
It's just but that's just like a PR move, right?
Yeah, I think
It is a PR move, but it's also they genuinely believe that.
Right.
Yeah,
They truly believe in what they're doing.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange.
I'm telling you, it's what happens. Someone was talking about this the other day, but they were saying it is the eking out. It is. I noticed it the other day when I was watching Sky News, and they got Pauline Hanson on to make some thing about, I don't know, whatever that like women's march was, and they were saying, like we just support women and we don't want transsexuals in the bathroom or something like that. She was on Sky News saying that point. And instead of the host coming back and saying, "Hey, it's an excellent point, Pauline," you could see that she was kind of like uncomfortable about it and was just like, well, your words. And I thought, that's Sky News. What the hell? Like, it's so weird. It's like I hate the terms. Like how everyone perceives like what the left is. That is their perception of it. And they have one
they're
that
the terms,
weird,
left and right, solid and undeniable and impenetrable.
Isn't it just like the worst, absolute worst of both worlds?
Just wanted to add that addendum. Go on.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing so, keeping me straight
I'm
and
fact
honest
checking him. Go
in
on.
real time.
Yeah.
What they should have done to Trump. But isn't it amazing that, like, on the culture level, like the worst side won, and on the economic level, the worst side won? That's what's happened to our society now.
The worst.
And so you get
outcome
that
possible.
kind of situation at the ABC where they're just like, we're still taking the exact same amount of money for a worse product that is nowhere near as efficient, but there's more women here now. Yes. It's like nothing about that is remotely appealing to anyone outside of the corporate sector.
Even the view of like there's not enough women in all of these positions is kind of like it's definitely outdated now. I'm not saying that every position of power now has women, but like if you look at the new crop, like I realized this when I was at law school and we were being told like how we need more women in the profession and how there's like it's just filled with white old men. And I looked at my class and I'm not kidding, at least 70% were women. So I was like, I think we've solved this here. Like just look around.
Right.
Like most of the graduates were women. And you look at like school performances and there's a higher dropout rate for boys. But boys they perform much worse in every subject.
But also
even science now.
The thing that people avoid
in fact,
too
like
is
this is a problem where like researchers are saying that one of the solutions is that they're saying that you should actually get boys to start school at a later age than girls because girls' brains are developing quickly.
Yeah.
But also certain subjects have a proclivity to attract certain sexes, right? Like what is it? Whatever it is, the sciences, STEM and all that tends to be more male.
But women
now,
are beating them in that as well.
Inside today.
Really?
Like, for our generation, it was true. But for the young kids today, girls are beating them. In Australia, I think there was only one subject, chemistry, where boys were performing slightly better. but every other science subject, girls were outperforming boys by a
don't
big
say.
margin too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a combination of the fact that boys sexually peak at 28. Oh, sorry, 18, and women sexually peak at 28.
33. When they sexually peak.
No, you're at the summit, man. Just riding it out until you're 80.
Again, I'm fact checking him, guys. Someone's got to do it. No one else is going to do it.
What does sexual peak have anything to do with it?
No, he's saying
I'm
that
telling you, man, like all I could think about when I was 18 was having sex with women. Now, when I think back at it, being like, what was I thinking?
it's true.
You know, like anything that like it was. I really yearn for the Victorian days where they used to cover table legs because they were too suggestive.
So if it does get to a situation where it does like, there's big problems, then what is gonna? It's interesting because the sort of like hyper woke corporate sector, or whatever. What are they gonna do? They'll just keep like shutting their eyes to it and be like, it's fine.
No, they're gonna hire women because women would probably be better at the job, which leaves all the men. There's gonna be a legion of boys that will be just useless
on JobKeeper. Well,
No, they'll be like,
hey, they just upped JobKeeper, so
they'll be out protesting against like
Dude,
mask
I'm telling
mandates
you,
and shit.
do what Asia does: ban computer games. You got to do
holy
it.
shit! Hey,
Guys, just go into that
you're
realm.
affecting my Twitch streams with that.
I'm making them better, miss. You got to stop playing COD
Why?
because it's so outdated. Like you don't even know what any games are for the last 15 years.
You know what
And you're
people
sitting there
say?
being-
You know what people say, Ali? They say, "Hey, this stream reminds me of YouTube streaming in 2008."
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
your Wings of Redemption and you're dressing like
It's
him.
vintage.
It's classic.
Fuck off. Fuck you guys. So you think ban video games, that'll do it?
Yeah, that would
I mean,
absolutely
I'm kidding.
bring it back.
That would be amazing. It's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Children playing video games, and there's no shame.
But like, there definitely needs to be. You know how like they used to encourage and still encourage girls to get into like professions and get into like different kinds of professions, and also helping them like achieve better results at school. Yeah, that needs to be done with boys now. Like now.
Shit.
Yeah, but the way that you do it is you just have to ban vices, like no laptops in school, no
Yeah.
computer games.
They're gonna still fucking do it.
Somehow figure out what Turkmenistan did to porn. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they figured out how to
I mean,
use a VPN. Like,
Yeah, it's too far gone.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
But in
really
theory,
do
no,
Yeah,
but
they
in
are
theory,
a wily bunch, these 15-year-old
they
boys.
are. But in theory, you're right, I think. In theory, you're right. That would make huge progressions. I think.
I
It's
think,
definitely
like,
true. It's
China's
just like,
done
I don't
it.
know, something just flicks in your mind when you're 25 as a guy. And before that, you're kind of just awkwardly stunting through life. Be like,
Some people keep.
I think
continues on till
China's
the
put a
30s.
curfew. China's put a curfew on kids under the age of 18. I think they can't play video games after 8 or something.
That's. I mean,
There's some rule
yeah.
like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
How
but
can they police that?
parents, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if they can, but at the
Yeah.
very least, you
They're
should just be
trying.
putting in those signals of
Yeah,
saying,
this is-
you know, like, dude, stop telling kids not to do drugs. It would be an improvement on video games.
Yeah.
I remember that when I was in Singapore, there was all these pamphlets of all these kids just being like, Min Shao has been playing Call of Duty for the last 12 hours. He is not going to study well.
Fair.
And I was like, those are those like
Yeah.
infomercial things
Yeah.
they should be doing. Those are the after school specials now.
Fuck. I agree.
But anyway, like, yeah, look,
Totally.
again, see, the thing is, I got no issue with it anyway. I don't care if women are outperforming as long as they're performing.
As long as
Yeah,
it's
You know,
no,
like,
no,
as long as
I'm-
they're doing the job well, I don't care if they're at the top
that's the
and
thing.
killing it.
It's
Whatever.
it should be a meritocracy, irrelevant of
Yeah.
those sort of
Definitely.
things. Yeah.
If women are doing better, then they should definitely get a job over men. All right, well, let's move on to... So CNN got the highest ratings they had for because they had a town hall debate.
200,000.
3 million plus. Things have changed.
Shit,
That's,
Trump. The Trump fact is
It's not the
still
Seinfeld
good.
era, but they did a town hall with Trump. So the reason why I want to bring this up is
You're a
because
nasty woman.
CNN is getting criticized by a lot of people saying like, you're giving Trump a platform. Because like literally after the CNN town hall debate, Trump's polls went up.
Yeah.
And dude, it's so funny. You should watch it. Some of the highlights. I'll tell you some of the highlights. He was like at one point This is the day after he was found liable in that sexual assault case and had to pay $5 million. He's like, the judge was so biased, he wouldn't let me bring out really important facts. Like the woman that sued me, her cat or dog or whatever is called vagina.
Vagina.
Yeah.
It's called vagina.
Vagina.
But like, you wouldn't let that in. On the other hand, they get all the Access Hollywood stuff that's relevant. How come vagina isn't relevant?
They said her name was Vagina. That was her name, Vagina.
So good.
Dude, again, I can't see how his polling couldn't go up. It was the showmanship of it.
But
The
like,
point
okay.
where he was just saying, "I've got a list of all the things I said on January 6th.
I gotta pull it out.
I don't have to pull it out now, do I?" And then waiting, and then just like, "Okay, I gotta pull it."
He's like, I gotta
I
pull
gotta
it out.
pull
I
it
gotta
out.
pull it out.
That classic smug face that he does. But
I gotta pull that. Sorry, I gotta pull it.
Yeah, and he was like, he was being a full even in the Access Hollywood tape, if you listen, I said they let you grab them by the pussy.
Yeah.
They
You don't wanna
let
say that?
you.
Yeah.
That
I can
you
say
do.
whatever you want me to say, but it's true. You're telling me.
I mean, he's kind of right though. He's saying that like rich people can do whatever they want. I don't know how that's a hugely controversial thing to say. That like
I don't even think he was saying that. I think he was just saying women are attracted to rich and famous men.
Rich, powerful.
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
a star, I said a star.
yeah.
If you're
Uh,
a star.
But the
Yeah.
reason why I brought this up is because people, like, a lot of people are criticizing for CNN giving him a platform, blah, blah, blah. But the Biden strategy is, according to insiders, Jordan, Biden is saying, give Trump as much airtime as possible. Because my election strategy is, you keep showing him to people, doing all of that shit, and I'm going to be like, do you want this drama for another 4 years? If
And
not,
the answer is
vote
yes.
for me.
That's just
That's the question.
Yeah, but I
can't
I
believe
missed it. It was such a great revival of 2016 already. It's just like he's back.
Yeah.
I forgot how funny he
Is that a stupid strategy by Biden?
Probably isn't, but
I don't know.
I mean, look, I had forgotten about Donald Trump, and then he was there again, and there was a huge grin on my face. And the same thing with, we were looking through Netflix, and we were saying, this is all terrible, and yet these writers want more money. And then Trump, just off the top of his head, way more entertaining.
Yeah, Trump should
Sitting
be
there
a
just being
writer.
like, you're very rude. No, you asked the question, now you don't want me to answer. Okay, that's fine.
And just for the record, you're also not my type. Never in a
I
million
watched
years.
that. I watched that. I love how he's just doing the kind of just like he asked, which was like,
You're a nasty woman. Nasty woman.
it's just like it's just so,
Very nasty.
I love too that he's come back 4 years later and his hair's darker.
Yeah, because he relaxed now.
Yeah, that's it.
So what should Biden's strategy be? If like,
It's right, that should be his strategy.
but do you think, I don't know if that's a good one. Because the more I watched Trump and I was like, yeah, I want him. Trump 2024. The more, because he's
Just-
so
just
funny.
think
He's
about-
like the best entertainer out there. He's like,
Just think about.
it's like saying like after a
You know,
great,
Ali, you know what the I heard, so I can't remember who it was, but they summed it up as so good. Trump on CNN was this cross between this weird only in America cross of like fascism and Jerry Springer.
So fucking
and
good.
dude, it's the best. It's like,
It's the best.
I'm looking at 2024 as like his encore now. Like he killed the set. We want him back on
Yeah,
stage.
what's the sequel
once
gonna be?
more.
Do it again.
We're gonna get a lot of hate for this opinion, though.
No, look. No, I think that anyone who doesn't agree with this statement is just plain wrong. Trump is funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know, like if you can't
But should
agree
someone
with that you are one of those sad little CNN viewers that was like, I was a really big fan of Anderson Cooper before this, but now I can't ever watch you, even though you weren't there, Anderson. I hate you, Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. Like, that's so lame not to admit that, like,
But
watching him as a serious contender for president of the United States is the most entertaining thing that's ever happened.
yeah.
in
But the
history of
problem is
humanity.
like the entertainment is
should he run the
is, like-
country?
because like if you gave me a ballot box and you said Joe Biden, Trump, choose one, like it would be so hard for me to tick next to Joe Biden because like wait, you're saying that I get free entertainment for the next 4 years.
No.
I'm gonna
He
keep
should just do
while
stand-up.
Hollywood is on strike, like the writers are on strike, and like I'm supposed to go for Joe Biden, one of the most boring individuals. Actually, he's not boring either, but
He's just not as good
Trump,
as
Trump
Yeah.
should just do stand up. He should just go like do like media tours.
he
and
does.
not do policy.
They're his rallies. They're
But he should
stand-up
just stick to
shows.
that. I don't think he needs to like destroy
No, we already
the
solved it
environment.
before, guys. This is what it should be. You should make him president of the United States, but Joe Biden is the prime minister of the United States.
Well, I don't know if that's gonna work.
What?
I'm telling you, like they should have a governor general in the United States, and he should have that role.
And Trump should be both. Dude, that's what I'm gonna vote for. Dude, but like speaking of Trump's policies, if you watched the CNN one, did you hear his response about the Ukraine and Russia stuff?
Yeah.
I know they're
I thought it
all
was-
sitting there like, "Oh, we got him," and it's like, "No, you tried to get him,
And he fucking won
mastered
over
it
the entire
amazingly."
audience.
Yeah.
So for those of you that didn't watch it, Trump was asked, "How are you gonna fix the Ukraine-Russia guy?" He's like, "I'll fix it in one
In a
day.
day.
I will sit down with Putin, and I will sit down with what's the other guy, Zelensky, and I'm just gonna be like, hey, there's both of you have weaknesses, both of you have strengths, and just fix it out." And then like the chick was the interviewer was saying like, "Wait, who do you want Russia to win or do you want Ukraine to win?" "I don't care about winning. I just want to stop people being killed needlessly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come in and I'll fix it."
yeah.
And the entire audience just starts laughing. That's where you tell. That's how you can tell where the public opinion is. And
Yeah.
I know it sounds funny, but that's a good policy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
such a good policy.
a
Yeah,
good
and then
answer.
also this as well of saying you're not even saying that Putin's a war criminal. I can't believe you're not saying that. And then he was saying that's not a good negotiation deal. You should read out of the deal. It's a very good book. I wrote it, and you shouldn't say these things when you're negotiating. Okay.
True. Yeah.
It's just like, dude, that is the most sensitive. He said pretty much exactly the same as what Paul Keating said to the gotcha questions. And again, the press acted like Paul Keating was like, oh my God, out of his mind. When he was just saying really sensible things about the very few policy questions he was asked about, which really freaked me out, Ali. Isn't it scary that you can have a presidential town hall meeting and they don't really talk about policy at all for an hour and a half?
That's actually what I wanted to bring up. This is my question. So Biden's strategy of Trump. Okay, let's leave Biden's strategy. CNN. The problem with all of these mainstream news outlets, particularly the ones that hate Trump, is like they're always looking for gotcha questions. Instead of like, they made that entire fucking debate about January 6th. Like basically you're telling him to like play your best offs again. Instead of just being like focusing on the policy shit. Okay, you're talking about reducing debt. How are you going to do it? You gave tax cuts to all of these people that ballooned the deficit. Isn't this opposite of what you did? So why is the first 4 years going to be different from the second 4 years?
That's what they should have asked.
If they did that, he might have had good answers to it. He might have dodged it, but he wouldn't have had the entire crowd with him.
Yeah.
Instead, they said like, tell us why you hate women. He's like, I don't hate women, I just hate bitches. And then everyone in the audience go like, yes, everyone hates bitches. Jerry. Yeah. It's stupid. So I
It's
think
so
CNN
stupid.
fucked up, but that's like not surprising because they always do.
But they always do those
They
questions.
always do
That's
that.
all the press ever focuses on.
But the question is, if
And
you're
it's another
Biden,
culture issue.
so first of all, Ron DeSantis is gone. I don't know how he's coming into
Shit.
the fucking race.
Not Ronnie.
So Trump, I think, is going to be the presidential nominee from the Republican Party. This fucking, what's his name, the vice president that Trump had, who's saying that I'll make a swish comeback, is like, no, you're not. So the question is, it's again going to be Joe Biden versus Trump. If you're Joe Biden, how do you stop this roller coaster?
He did it. It'll just be another rematch of what happened in 2020. And
Yeah.
he'll win again.
But like, do you think?
Who?
Biden.
All right.
Of course he'll win that because it'll be... This is the whole thing that people don't understand. It's like when people are always saying, why doesn't Labor get rid of the housing policy? Because they tried it. They went to the election. They failed. Okay? You don't go back the next election cycle and say, you're wrong on the things that you voted us out on. We're running on it again. The public said no. They're not going to change their mind, especially they're not going to change their mind in 4 years.
I don't know, man. I think if tomorrow Joe Biden was running against Donald Trump will win.
Why?
Because I think Joe Biden's lost popularity in the last 4 years. there's a difference between Joe Biden being the president the first time and then this Alzheimer-ridden Joe Biden now, who...
But they tried to paint him as last time.
Yes,
People
but
didn't care. They
now-
just cared
but
that he wasn't
now
Trump.
people have actually seen how Joe Biden's presidency is going to be. Also, I
Which,
think...
on top of that, FYI, has been mad.
Yes. I mean, sure. But, except for the foreign policy stuff, let's not forget. But anyway, keeping that aside, Joe Biden is an old man who is... We don't know exactly what his presidential bid is going to be like in 2024, but there's going to be something. The guesswork is that he'll have a vice president that he expects to become the president because he might die or will die, kind of thing. So he's saying that he's going to choose his vice president really carefully, and the vice president will be chosen not to help the president, but to be the president. So there's going to be uncertainty on just Joe Biden himself, and then Trump is going to come in with like 4 years of being persecuted, thrown into jail, reinvigorating his base, and all the flippers, the people that change between Republican and Democrat. I think a lot of them might go back to Republicans again.
Ali, you can't go from having one of the best midterm results in history to losing the presidency. People say they don't like Joe Biden, but they say that about every president. When it comes to the point and then they're focusing on the two options, they're going to be choosing Joe Biden because they don't want that insanity. They really didn't want it the first time with Hillary Clinton. It's just that she was like unbelievably unpopular. But the point is, man, any Democratic president would have the same poll numbers that Joe Biden currently has. It's just what happens when you're in an economic downturn.
Yeah, that's the other thing. America's facing an economic downturn and Trump's coming back in. Trump
Gets to
before
say
COVID,
it was all great when I was in power.
like
Yes.
he there was a boom. A lot of people in the US made money under Trump. Not because of Trump, and under Biden, there ain't no boom. And it's going to have an effect on the election results as well. I don't know, maybe you're right. You know, cosmically, like
I don't know. It just
hopefully
seemed
you
really
are.
powerful, the message during the midterms of, do you want democracy to die? Donald Trump is killing democracy. That actually is an effective thing that motivates people to go to the polls.
Yeah, it motivates anti-Trumpers, but as we know, half of the population isn't that.
No,
then, like,
let's
a
be honest.
sliver
Come
of
on, like
popula-
a third of the population is pro-Trump.
A third of the
Probably even
population
just a
is
quarter.
pro-Trump. Half of the population is pro-Republican, irrespective of it being Trump.
Yes,
And then there's a sliver
but
of population.
there are those people, those kind of George Bush Republicans that really don't like Trump, and they'll hold their nose. But having a base that is holding their nose to vote for them, as opposed to a base that is like, you know, he's the compromise candidate. That's always what Joe Biden's been. He's never been outrageously popular. He's always just been like, steady pair of hands, we're going to give it to him.
We'll see.
We'll
You
see,
know,
but
you know what's more interesting? Like, even if he gets in, that's 4 years. Who the fuck is gonna, once Trump's done, who the fuck's gonna replace him for the front runner of the Republican Party?
Donald Trump Jr.
You reckon?
No.
It'll be because I don't think anyone will replace that kind of personality. So it might go back to like normal Republican.
Someone will
politics.
show up who we don't even know of.
Yeah, but don't you think it won't be like that? I think it'll just be back to like Bush era Republicanism or something.
Yeah, but the cat's out of the bag, man. The Republican Party has fundamentally changed under Trump. Like, their
No, it'll go
priorities
back.
are different.
I think it'll go back.
It'll go back to
So
like the 90s.
yeah, I think it'll go back to that sort
Well,
of.
he might be right. Because who else can cultivate that cult of personality? It's actually something, I don't know where I heard it. I think it was from Milo Yiannopoulos. But he actually made a really good point about Trump, which is this once-in-a-lifetime
Wild card.
charisma, not even wild card, just in terms of just raw charisma. Who on planet Earth can compete with that man? Paul Keating. That's it. Those are the two most charismatic leaders the world has seen that I can remember. Ever. There's no one that's going to be able to top him. So it probably will just go back to just, Ron DeSantis or something like that just had like some kind of like sad little flavor of Donald Trump. Maybe that might get you over the line of who reminds you of
No,
Trump
I don't
the
think
most,
Ron
but-
DeSantis, particularly if he doesn't win the Republican nomination this time around, I don't think he's going to do much.
No,
It's
but
the
I'm
Bill
saying
Maher
that
point of like Ron DeSantis is trying to
Yeah.
do Trump, and it's like you're you're listening to a cover band. You want to see
Yes,
the actual
yes,
thing.
yes.
And once the actual
But
thing goes
when
away,
the actual thing is gone,
you still
cover
don't
band.
want a cover band. You want someone else original.
But there's no one to replace him. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. There's no one that we know of at the moment, but that person exists.
I don't know
And
if
once
they do.
Trump goes in, like Obama. Obama, before he became president,
Nowhere near
no
as
one,
charismatic as Trump.
I mean, it depends on what you consider charismatic, but like, sure.
No, come on.
Charismatic is funny. Trump is funny. Obama was serious.
No, but it's not even that. It's also just about he's able to spike people's emotions in a way that I've never seen.
But either way, 2 years before 2008, no one knew who President Obama was.
Yeah,
He just came out of nowhere.
yeah.
Trump as well. Came out of nowhere, steamrolled everyone. What I'm saying is, like, once the old got, like, when Trump is done, there's going to be someone like that comes in.
You
And
reckon?
before we know it,
You think so?
yeah.
What,
But I don't
Kerry
think-
Lake?
I don't think-
Elon Musk, maybe.
Oh yeah, so charismatic.
Yeah, so charismatic.
Yeah, no charismatic.
Wouldn't that be
think so.
amazing?
I don't know. I think it'll probably.
Elon Musk for the Republican ticket and Mark Zuckerberg for the Democrat. Wouldn't that just be a complete change of the guard
Yeah.
of just like
Oh,
oil doesn't run this country anymore, tech giants?
That would be kind of cool, actually.
Autist versus robot.
yeah.
Pick
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
favorite.
Who is more efficient?
Who's less autistic? That's the vote.
I think we all know who's going to win that.
I don't.
You don't? Come
No.
on.
Oh, I guess.
Sucks in a league of his own.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But what's his name? Musk, like, you know, his human form, like, his shell doesn't break as easily as Zuckerberg. So,
Yeah. Like, Mark Zuckerberg, every time I've seen him, I know that this is just
Scary.
old, but it really does remind me of the Simpsons thing of, like, public's kind of curious about why you're constantly holding hands with your opponent.
Yeah.
We're merely exchanging protein strands. If you can
Totally.
think of a more efficient way, I'd like to hear it.
Totally.
It feels like Kang.
Yeah.
That would be sick. And then they actually could make their banner, "Don't blame me, I voted for Quotas."
True.
Hey, why is Vice bankrupt now?
Go woke. Go, bro.
Yeah, but, like,
McInnes
so
thinks it's
many
because they
other-
started making videos.
But so many other media organizations went woke. What killed Vice?
No, it wasn't because they went woke. It was because they were extremely overvalued.
Yeah, and apparently,
Because it was a website.
yeah, but and apparently 2017 they were worth $6 or $4 billion,
Yes, that's a very
and now
chin
no one
estimate.
is willing to buy them for $1 billion. Soros is actually pitching in, so Soros might own Vice soon. But he is also saying that if anyone offers me slightly more than what I've paid, I'll sell immediately.
Really?
Yeah,
So why, he's just buying it for the soft power.
I think he's buying it for the soft power. Do you think it's worth $1 billion? Vice's soft power?
I don't think that anyone takes Vice seriously.
Why? Where did they go wrong? I remember in 2013, 2014, they were a sensation. I was at first year uni or second year uni, and as soon as you went to class, people would be like, "Dude, did you watch Vice's new bare knuckle boxing in Britain?" And everyone would have seen it already.
Yeah.
Where did they go wrong?
They did stop doing stuff like that.
But like
They
they
started
used
just
to,
talking about dildos and like transsexuals in Brazil. They did the woke stuff.
Why did they? What? I wonder why they switched like that. They had such a winning model.
Because
doesn't
that's
make-
what the corporate. Because he was saying it. He was just like, as soon as you get corporate money, eventually, what they envision when they think of the youth is Ivy League female college students. That's who they're trying to pitch to, and it's like that's a market. That's not a $6 billion market.
Yeah.
A $6 billion market is, we went to Angkor Wat and like ate crickets. Yeah, it can taste like chips, man. That's a $6 billion market.
They stopped doing that? Is that what you're saying?
They tried to bring it back, but then it was like muddied with that. And as soon as
Right.
you go down that BuzzFeed route
Yeah.
and muddy it with the whole like be better kind of angle, it just turns everyone off, except a very small
That's
corporate
kind of the
sliver.
new mainstream, right?
What?
That shit.
What?
Like, I don't know, like...
There's no such thing as mainstream anymore.
You
hey?
reckon? I feel like Vice became that.
Yeah, there is no.
I don't know, that sort of thing of like, we're in the Gaza Strip, except they're dressed like this. That's the mainstream, you know?
Yeah, but it's not. Who's doing that?
Well,
There's no
heaps
such
of
thing.
people.
Like in the age of the internet, the thing was they were kind of there as a big brand when the internet was becoming a thing, and they were there to take advantage of it. But after
Yeah.
a while, everything just breaks out.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have, I know of a dozen people that are doing Vice-esque stuff these days.
What do you mean by
Or
that?
like Avi Yemeni or someone.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
Even that, yeah, okay. Like,
But you
let's
see,
use
even
Avi.
Avi Yemeni is doing well.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
a
Yeah,
market for
he's
it.
not doing $6 billion well.
Yeah, he's not doing
No, he's
that
not
well.
because he's Australian anyways. But like he's doing better than other social media people.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can do well if you have like a small team behind you, but if you need to pay for
got too
offices
big.
in New York,
I think
and
it got
Tokyo,
I think it got too big, man. There was so much investment.
Because like you know
and
when
bad investment.
when BuzzFeed collapsed, I was laughing and I was happy. I was like, serves you right. Vice is bittersweet. I'm not. It could have been such a great thing. It could have been a good CNN had they not, before the corporate money. It used to be a really good media organization. And somewhere around 2015, 2016, they just,
well, let's be honest, it was never a good media.
well,
organization.
they figured out something that no one had. They figured out that you don't have to hire someone from Sydney Uni to be a news presenter.
Yes.
You can hire someone that's living in ISIS territory right now who has a camera
Yeah.
because their access is going to be insane. And that was kind of revolutionary. That's how they got these amazing docos, because people that were making these docos weren't going from fucking New York all the way to wherever in Poland, whatever the story is. They were looking at people that were living in
true.
that environment.
That's true.
And then they stopped. Once they got money, they started hiring people to do all of that shit.
You're not wrong.
It's sad that they're gone.
I'm not sad that they're
I mean,
gone, but
I'm happy that
It was
the
dying
current
for
version of
ages,
it.
though. You know, like it was
And at some point,
they just kept propping it
SBS
up. Like, surely it was never profitable. They must have just...
by the end, yeah.
They must
I
have...
don't know.
As Gavin was saying, the guy that... I can't remember his name, Sean or whatever. Shane was just really good at wrangling corporate money.
Yeah.
And because he kind of had this edgy feel to him, corporates were like, oh, a cool guy's talking to me.
Yeah.
So he was really good at inflating how valuable Vice was.
Yes, exactly.
But so I think that it was just one of those classic things of like a startup just getting $1 trillion based on like a glossy, presentation.
Well,
But
what do you think about this other? So you're right. Like they started off as a punk magazine in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
And
It
so
used to
they
be
were
called
like
it used to be called The Voice.
they were like in the zeitgeist. They knew exactly what cool was, and they just sort of carried it on until the initial Vice days, and then like they got old and they didn't know what cool was anymore. You think?
And the thing is as well, like, what's cool to millennials is absolutely not cool to
Gen Z, yeah, absolutely.
And millennials, like, they get on with their lives. They've got other shit going on.
What's cool for Gen Z? Do Gen Z things like... Because when I was like 17, 18, I used to think hipsters were cool.
Now you don't.
Well, now I don't. But like obviously, I don't think anyone thinks hipsters are cool. But Gen Z, who is cool to them? Who is a Sigma male? They really like that. Who's
Tate.
Tate is alpha, right?
Yeah,
His
okay, yeah.
terms.
Who's a Sigma?
He's
Who's a
dumb.
Sigma?
What is a
fucking-
Sigma male? Because that person
Paul
is Gen
Keating's a Sigma male.
What do you
It's
mean?
kind of just someone who's just like an alpha autist. That's a Sigma male. They're kind of just like, I don't need women. I get off on antique clocks. and like you're kind of just like, that's lame. And they're just like, you haven't seen the polish on this Swiss clock. And they're like, oh, I guess that is kind of cool. So, damn right. And you can't afford it because you don't have a corporate job. Now finish cleaning my shoes. That's a Sigma male.
So that's who apparently is cool to Gen Z.
Yeah, they like that idea. They like the... What's attractive to a Sigma male, I think, is like somebody who's, making a lot of money off of drop shipping.
What the hell's that?
It's basically just buying things on Alibaba and then reselling them on eBay.
Ah, it's fucked. Right, yeah.
But isn't that what it is?
I don't know, dude.
See,
The
this is the whole thing. The
scary
world
to
is
me.
just so
fragmented.
now that there's never going to be anything
A
like Vice
unified,
again.
cool subculture.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Really?
That's a tragedy because there was a sense of camaraderie when we were growing up, and like
I liked it in
everyone
the
was
early
into the
days.
same
Yeah,
thing.
I liked it for a while.
Everyone knew what, like,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
like that thing.
Well, it wasn't for me, but that's just because I'm like a massive contrarian. But
because
Yeah,
you're a
yeah,
Sigma
of
male.
course.
Maybe that's maybe you
Sigma
are
male.
Gen Z cool.
no way.
Maybe. You're an autist. You're also into like
You're rich.
you're into fish instead of
yeah.
and you're also rich.
You are.
sell-
You're a
oh my
Sigma
god,
male.
you're Gen Z wet dream.
You're a Sigma
They
male.
want to be you.
This guy's a Sigma
Yeah, but dude, I don't make
male.
any money
our
out of drop
generation
shipping. I've
thinks
got no
that you're a
passive
loser.
income.
Dude, you used to sell fucking penis keychains. Come on.
What
If
do you
that's
mean?
not like whatever Sigma male is, then I don't know what is.
Dude, I think you're a Sigma male. Successful you is, I think, a Sigma male now.
Well, maybe. Like, look, yes, if you were going for what my route to being at the top of a pyramid is, it would be being a Sigma and not an alpha. I'm definitely not an alpha. Alphas drive Porsches and shit. I think that's the difference. Look, this is the difference between a Sigma and an alpha. Do you think Teslas are better or Bugattis?
Wait, Sigma thinks Teslas are better?
Yeah, Sigmas think Teslas are better. Sigmas are just, I think they're just like, yeah, look, it's like like Bitcoin cunts and shit like that. It'd be like Sigma-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even that's dead now.
Is
isn't it?
Bitcoin a thing anymore?
I think that's it. Yeah, look, that person's never going to go out of style. Someone that just sits there and just like, fuck you, and especially you.
It's so
That's all
weird
they're
that,
gonna
like, you know, we move into this general neutral world and somehow young boys, all they care about is like shitting on bitches. That's what gets you famous now amongst young kids.
I was just thinking that the other day. My entire life, I was just sitting there being like, man, what is this? Like, everyone's just shitting on men all the time. And then Gen Z just completely flipped it around. I'm just like, dude, go easy on her. Like, she just said that she's a 10, and you're just like fucking destroying
Yeah,
her
yeah,
entire
it's
like
like-
ego. That's like everything that you ever see now. It's just
Really?
some podcaster they'll be like, so rank yourselves, and then some chick on Instagram will be like, I'm a 10. Like, what a stupid bitch. You're a fucking 9, you dumb whore.
yeah, there's
Like,
that.
It
But,
always
like,
just goes in waves. Hey,
trolling-
it's just like men are just getting shit on hard, or women are getting shit on hard. It's just never just kind of like, just fucking relax,
Have you
everyone.
seen-
You
have
know,
you
that
seen
never
that?
happens.
Have you seen that TikTok of this, like, I think Eastern European kid just slam hard into his,
Hezbollah.
like,
Just like,
these-
you can't read. You don't know any
You're
books.
illiterate. Why are you wasting my time with these illiterate women? I'm not illiterate, kid. Shut up.
Yeah, that's
okay, name me 10 books. Well, the Twilight series.
That is
Game
not the
of Thro-
book.
That is not the book. That is
a
the name
series.
of. What is the name of the book? Okay, give me 3. Shut up, kid. Why am I sitting with these illiterate bitches?
That's what goes viral these days. It's just like
Hey, it works.
dumb chicks getting owned. That's
It's what Jordan Peterson always said. Jordan Peterson says the more you try to bring society and like you try to make gender equal, the more they conform to their gender roles.
Dang. It seems
And
like
he
that's
uses
happening.
Scandinavia as the example.
I swear it's not even a thing of equality. I just think that like Gen Y men were shat on hard, and now it's women's turn. Women are getting shat on by Gen Z,
Right.
and then Gen whatever after that, men will
Will be
get
men.
shat on again.
It's just cyclical.
It's just cyclical.
No, the generation after that is gonna shit on trannies.
Yeah, exactly. And then it goes back to men, and it's just the circle.
No, I think that like the transsexual thing is just going to be it's a blip now. It's part of like the propaganda route of that's the new culture war. But they'll find something else. They'll find some other thing that they'll just obsess over. But like that kind of like, you know, battle of the sexes thing is always in a to and fro.
I think people forget that we are just like apes. Like everyone like seems to think that there's like obviously, you know, that we've made leaps and bounds.
You might be an ape. I am son of Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Son of
Atheist
Mohammed.
apes. No, Adam.
Just Adam, no ape.
Adam ape. But like,
What is
you
the
know,
difference?
Do not say that about Adam.
Anyway, you're very silly.
Very
It's
immature.
just, I'm my point's null. All right.
What was your point?
I'm saying like we're just. as soon as people start to think that we're these sort of like heightened, enlightened beings, it's like, no, we're just like flinging shit at each other.
Yeah.
We like
Never gets old.
We like negativity. That's why tabloids always to this day sell so well. We like drama. We like tea, and we like being like "fuck you," and that's it.
That's pretty much it.
The end.
Yeah. I think you just solved it.
Yeah,
That's what's going to happen.
that's basically a preview to
Back
your
and
show
forth.
too.
It is a preview. I'll tell you what else as well. Seeing as we're on the shitting women train at the moment, you know what I've realised? Now women, there's always these stats.
We're
just
not
being
shitting.
like-
We're just observing. But yeah,
yeah,
fuck it,
that's
I
what
am.
we're doing. Yeah, well, Ali is. I mean, and he's got Muslim
yeah.
license.
Adam
he can do
is.
that.
Yeah, he can.
I
He's
can
the son of Adam.
I can shit on 4 women at the same time.
May women. But it's like dude, I swear to God, I noticed this when I was like buying some like furniture and shit with my girlfriend. You know how they were always just saying like, I don't know, women have less money on average than men. They retire with less money. They have worse lives, and all these stats that they bust out. Yes, that's true. I'll give it that. The bottom 50% of women have worse lives. And I'll even go as far as to say much worse lives than the bottom 50% of men.
Right.
Because
Really?
usually they'll marry some dead shit that's also in the bottom 50%
Right.
of guys. He's just going to fuck off. She's going to be left with 3 kids, and she's going to have a
Right.
shit life.
Shit.
And she's going to die penniless and broken with twisted ovaries and whatever.
And her
That's gonna
favorite
happen.
movie is Made in Manhattan,
Yep.
I've never seen
where
it.
a
Never seen
maid,
it.
Jennifer Lopez, ends up marrying a rich politician.
Because that's
Hey,
all they've
I
got,
think
man.
that-
Like, don't take that off.
That was
them.
a bite.
They
That was-
need that.
that was-
No, because I was
documentary.
like, someone was watching it, and I was watching the movie with them, and I was like, oh my god, this movie is meant for single moms in their 30s that are unable to find a man that is willing to marry them, and
Yeah.
their ultimate fantasy is
Getting a
not
hot
only
50-year-old billionaire.
is he like a man that's willing to marry me, he's a rich man, and they also have to be, their fantasies, they have to be great with their kids.
Yeah.
If you do that, then like,
Oh, of
it's
course.
ultimate.
Yes. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen in real life.
No, that was a,
She
that
was
was a
Jennifer
documentary.
Lopez.
That was a
It was not.
documentary.
Yeah, dreams could come true. But then, when I was going around shopping, I just had this moment where I was like, fuck, it's all housewives in here. And it's not like they're like elite. They're just middle class or whatever. They have the best fucking lives on earth. They just sit around shopping all day, having coffees with Mildred because she's very upset. I was like, dude, the top 50% of women are killing it. They've got the best fucking life. They don't have to fucking work. They just hang around malls, which is my fantasy. I love malls. And they just sit there watching movies and shit. Like, it's like they don't do much.
Dude,
That's amazing.
they live the ultimate life. As a woman once said, I asked her, what's your ultimate life? And she said, my ultimate life is to be a housewife and go to parties with my friends and tell them how difficult my life is.
Yeah, I know. And look,
That's
that's
my
a
ultimate
great. I
life.
want that life.
I want
too.
that life too.
That's a great life.
That's my dream.
I've
life.
been so
and
busy.
so
Yeah.
many of them are living that life. Like, I swear, this was not
I've
like
been
a
so busy.
mall, you know. But then you go to.
Totally.
So
I
you
think
get-
it's when you
it's
go to
so
one of
hard
those
to
malls
find
like
good house help.
Bathurst or something like that.
No, it's true.
When you go to a low class mall, when you start seeing a bunch of guys in the middle of the day shopping, you know that those women are having a shit life.
yeah.
But if you go to a mall and it's just chicks there, it's just like, what are you complaining about? Your life's mad.
It's like a class thing then, maybe?
Yeah, it's a
Regional-
class.
yeah,
I really
yeah.
do think it's a class thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And then in that way, like the guys
is.
there have the shit life because they're the doctors or whatever that are just fucking working all day and never get to spend their own money. And the woman's just like, I need the credit card. Like,
Yeah.
they're having a sick life.
Yeah. I think it's always a class thing. People like to divide over sexes and stuff. It's always class.
Yes.
Damn.
But I will say
Marxist.
that being a woman
Let's not
in the
put
lower
let's
class
not go
is
crazy.
much worse than being a guy
Oh,
in the lower
oh,
class.
yeah.
absolutely.
Definitely.
It makes sense.
Dude,
what
as
you're
Bill
saying.
Burr puts it, he was like, when he's like, it was all about, Black Lives Matter was about black people for 5 minutes, and all these white women came up and say, hey, I'm persecuted too. No, shut up, bitch. You were with me in the hot tub. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of women in the hot tub as well. And they still complain about life. But then you're right. Like, dude, the bottom barrel women's life is shit.
Yeah, it's shit.
That
It's rough.
poor woman that has 3 kids, deadbeat husband that went for a packet of cigarettes and never showed up,
Fuck.
their life is miserable.
I'm telling you, all these women's advocate groups, stop saying women. say single mums. Like as soon as you say single mums, I'm just like, yeah, I'm on board. Just dude,
Of course.
give them a house, give
Yeah.
them something,
Yeah.
anything. Like they need it.
Yeah.
Like they're really like the unsung heroes of society because they're the only ones that are reproducing anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a fucking
Yeah,
good. That's a fucking good point.
Fixing the
Prop
population
them up.
issue.
Fuck yeah.
All right, boys, we're out of time. But before we go,
May I?
I
Wait,
wanted-
we're out of time. What about memes?
oh yeah,
And
wait,
plus, I have stories.
okay, do your misadventure.
Well, it's my misadventure is really shit. I'll just tell you because it's funny. So I was, I think it's funny anyway. So I was supposed to go on a misadventure, and I'm not going to reveal what it is because it'll ruin it. But I couldn't do it because the establishments were closed. But I think this is pretty funny. Because I was feeling fine, on cloud 9, made a pretty stupid decision.
Mm-hmm.
I bought into some timeshares. Ding, 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 ding.
No, you didn't.
I was in like Marrickville Metro, and this like Filipino lady was like, "Hey there, how are you going?" And she's like, "Do you want to own a luxury apartment in the Gold Coast?" I was like, I was just there. I don't need to go back there. And she's like, "No, but this is a draw, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, so she was like, "You can do $30, $50, or $100 to win this it's a apartment, and also it's technically a charity, so you can win it." And I was like, "I'm feeling lucky. I never played lawyer. Let's do it." Anyway,
And you won.
I signed this thing, and I gave her my bank card, and then I was like, "So it's like just a one-time payment, right? Just $30." And she was like, "Okay, all signed. So if you want to," she goes, "Okay, so," and she was really nice because that's her job, I guess, to win over schmucks like me.
Yeah.
And she goes, and I go, "So it's a one-time payment thing, like $30. It's like you pay it once and that's it, right?" And she's like, "Okay, so if you want to reduce your ongoing, reoccurring monthly payment, all you have to do is call this number," which I underlined, so I got scared. And she's like, "And then you can reduce your monthly, like, what do you call it? Like donation to a smaller amount." So I'm just locked in some weird contract.
Dude, you were an idiot.
Look at it. But don't lose it. I really need this.
This
Apparently,
is my ticket out.
Your subscription matters.
apparently it's an RSL. And I was like, "Is it a club?" And she's like, "No, it's an art RSL." And I'm like, "I don't know what that means." And it's like some charity for like Queensland war vets. And they fucked me. They fucked me.
Man, you know what's even worse?
What?
You know what's even worse?
What?
It's not that you could win this fabulous apartment, but it's also you could win gold.
Yeah, she kept talking about gold. I'm like, this
Gold.
sounds wrong.
You should have taken your cue there.
This is coming from someone who put all of their life savings in silver. You got chumped.
But you know what happened? It was one of these things where they kept talking, right? She kept talking, and then you know when they keep talking, and halfway through, you're like, if she says I have to give her every penny, I'm just going to have to say yes because it's awkward at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
exactly.
but you know you're
Yeah.
gonna like
It's
you're just gonna
fucked.
do this for the rest of your life.
But I
from
don't
now
want
on.
to.
This is
I
what
gotta say though,
I'll
if
tell
you
you
do
how
win,
you can do it.
win big.
I know, but I don't think I'm going to.
I'll tell you one solution.
I don't want to pay $30 a month for something
Oh
I'm not
my
going to
God,
win.
You're spending $30. Look, I'll give you one solution.
Yeah.
It's the coward's way out. It's the equivalent of ghosting someone.
Cancel my card.
Yeah, change your bank card.
I'm not doing that.
Why?
I've worked too long to have this card.
Just please, for the love of God, this is a sign. Change your card.
No,
I
I'm not changing
hate
it.
going to
I'm
your
not-
card and you being like, "Hang on, that's my e-shaver. I need to get out my gold shaver shit." No, that one's declined as well. Hang on, I've got several others here. No. Hey, back of the line. I've got to. Here we go. I hate that.
I'm not changing my card.
Please change it.
Anyway, so if I win big, guys, I'll take you for that infamous hot steak dinner. But I also think I've just been completely fucked here.
Wouldn't it be amazing
If I won the
Miss
condo,
Love wins a $3.7 million condo in the Gold Coast?
it would be insane. But like, dude,
And you know what else as well?
I
I
don't-
bet you any money you like, he won't Airbnb it.
dude, I won't win it.
and he'd still be paying the $30
Dude, it
even
was-
after winning the
Dude.
prize that they said that.
Dude,
they
it was
were
a
gonna do.
really bad sign where I'm like, so it's just a one-time payment. She goes, "Okay, so if you want to reduce your reoccurring payment," it's like, why didn't you just tell me that at first?
You know what else is amazing about this? This is a charity from Queensland.
I know.
And it was in New South
I
Wales.
don't
That
know
says
why.
a lot.
I don't know why.
I didn't know that till after. And it's also like war vets, people that get paid like, I don't know, 100K a year and like, you know, they're doing fine. There's no wars going on. They need your help. Anyway, so that was my...
So good.
That was my 60... welcome to the VIP... Hey, I'm finally a VIP. Welcome to the VIP club. So that was my little
They
addendum.
have to call you sir now.
That was my... that was my addendum misadventure. And there's a give me that back though. I need that. I really need that.
I need it for my condo.
No, I need it because I need the number because I'll never find it again. I'm like, sorry, sir, that company doesn't exist anymore.
Dude,
There's
it's gonna be
that.
so annoying for you to change it. They're basically scams.
Really?
They're gonna make you like. They're gonna give you either you go full close like no, I need to cancel it. Then they'll be like, oh, but like in this you can win this and you can win that. I was like, no, I need to cancel it. Cancel it. I'm telling you.
I know if you ring up, you're just going to up it to $60.
I know. She nearly got me to 100.
Holy
$100
hell,
a
miss.
month.
Miss. It's always a fine line between comedy and tragedy, and you just crushed it.
There's a fine line.
$100!
I know, a month.
There's a fine line between a normal person and an idiot.
And what
Then
am I, a
again, if you
normal
do put in
person?
$100 a month, I'm assuming you get more chances to win.
Yeah, this is how they get you. This is how they get you. Also, there's another addendum to that segment. Have you got the memes? Get them up.
Can we do it on the next one? Because now
I
you
don't
always send it to me
want to.
while we're doing the pod. Just send it to me before so I can set it up.
Okay, fine. Next week.
Okay.
All right, well, there's
But
a reason to tune in.
We'll finish on this then. I got a little gift from somebody, and I thought about it, right? Tune into the up late to see the effects. What do you think this is, boys?
Is that Viagra?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
And one is missing.
Wait, show me.
We're taking Viagra because that's good for content. And if you want to see the effects, I assume you
Well, yeah, you
go on the
already
up
know
late.
the effect.
Oh my
Well.
God! It's the infamous blue pill.
Yeah, I got it off my mate. He's like,
Man,
here you go.
Miss Love, blue pill.
I've never used it. That's not
Dude, I
mine.
am not having this on the pod, but
Yes,
I
you
will
are.
be having it.
Nah, come on, we got to do it.
It's-
For the
we
pod.
got-
we just
For
have,
the pod.
we'll have boners for hours.
I
Yeah.
know.
We got to do it.
It's fucked.
Dude,
I
I
don't-
am not having sex with either one of you.
Look, I said, what part of the word content don't you understand?
You need to do some Jack and Jill content with this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I got it from, actually.
But you be Jack and I'll be Jill.
Oh no!
they
we're not
look,
doing it.
are these like, I don't believe me. I
Yeah,
don't-
we're doing it. We'll convince
yeah.
Ali while we're off air. But if you want to tune into the Up Late podcast and see what it's like to see 3 fully grown men with boners
in their 30s.
in their 30s taking Viagra when we really don't need to,
It's fucked. Is
you know where to go.
Is it bad for you as a youngster too?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
All right.
bad for you when you're old. See you guys.